Welcome to this tutorial for my arrangement of Fairest Lord Jesus. This is a somewhat calm and almost moody arrangement. The second verse transitions into a minor key, a minor feel. This is not too difficult of an arrangement. I'd call it maybe early intermediate. And so there's only a few particular spots that I want to draw your attention to. The first here on page 1 is at measure 9. In the left hand, you'll see that the top note is bracketed, and that happens again every other measure for quite a ways here. And the reason is that's a tenth from the bottom note to the top note. Oh, we turn the volume up. And that's comfortable for me to span that, but I have very large hands. I realize that not everyone has Rachmaninoff sized hands. So I put a note in here that you could take that top note and move it down a third so that instead of D, A, F sharp, it's a D, A, D. And then over here you have an E, B, G. You could make it just an E, B, E. And then the same goes, where's it at? Measure 21, F sharp, D, A, could be F sharp, D, F sharp. So that you're not spanning more than an octave. Or you could just take that top note out altogether and play it like this. It's still going to work, it's still going to sound nice. The reason I put it in there to begin with is adding that third in the chord just gives it some warmth and roundness to it that I really like. So if you can spread your hand that far. You know, another option, I didn't put this in here, is you could roll it. You know, like that. All right, the next thing I wanted to draw your attention to is on the third page. And that is these thirds that run up. It's kind of tricky to play thirds with one hand very quickly. And I offer some fingering that I think can make it easier. Do that, and then it might take a little bit of practice. My suggestion is, if you have a hard time with it, when you get to the C sharp E and you got to transition to your 1 and 3 fingers for the D and the F sharp, is that you keep your hand close to the keys. You don't lift it up like this. And you get your thumb under here as quickly as you can so that there's as little break in sound as possible. I'm not playing I'm not pressing the pedal at all. It's just dry. It's pretty smooth. It's as smooth as I can get it anyway. And then the other potentially tricky thing, I worked very carefully to make sure that if I wanted you to hold a note down with your hand, I notated it so. And if I didn't want you to do that, I notated it so. For example, here at measure 41, you have a half note at the top, and then you have quarter note and eighth notes. And then those eighth notes there are tied to a half note while your right hand goes to quarter notes. And so watch my hand as I play that. And then the next measure has a whole note on the D. I intend for that to be played as written. And then this next measure, you've got a whole chord, but it's only held for a quarter note. I intend for those to only be held for a quarter note. That's all very intentional. It might be something that's easily overlooked, or something that you scratch your head and say, I don't know what he was thinking. When you play it on an acoustic piano, especially, I'm playing on a keyboard right now, you hear those notes that are being held, you hear the resonance of the harmonics of that note, as you play the other notes. And so it's really intentional. And it also matches the lyrics too. If somebody's singing it along in their head, then, it just matches what they're singing in their head. Praise and, it's not praise and. So it's a small thing, but it's one of those subtle things that I think really separates a performance of an arrangement from, it separates the men from the boys, if you will. I think it does come through in the performance. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.